Greetings, YouTube and the internet at large. I am Sergeant Scott, also known as Robber01, and as many of you know, or have noticed, ever since the release of the Nintendo Classic Mini and its subsequent artificial scarcity due to Nintendo having some odd kind of allergy to people who want to give them money in exchange for a good time. Not that kind of good time, I mean the kind of good time where you spend an afternoon with some classic games for a welcome afternoon of fun and nostalgia. Now then, because of this, there's been a growing trend of people building their own dedicated classic games emulation systems using the Raspberry Pi Zero from the Raspberry Pi Foundation. These little powerhouses of computing wizardry are wonderful little $5 computers that require only a handful of minor extras to turn it into a fully functioning desktop computer or an emulation system. Now, many people also like to stylize their systems with a bit of nostalgic joy by sacrificing an NES game to the digital gods in an offering so that their endeavors in building such an emulation system will be blessed with success. Now, I recently built one while deployed in Kuwait due to having the need to build something fun, and I have it here with me, even though this will not be a Let's Build video like I've done in the past with the GameCube and the original Xbox, Xbox 360 and Xbox One. Instead, this is going to be more of a small tour, but don't worry, a full Let's Build is going to be in the making as soon as I'm actually back in the States. Now then, I have here my Pi Zero NES cartridge. I made it out of Duck Hunt, but don't worry, Duck Hunt is still safe and sound. The actual game itself is here in this reproduction cartridge. Now, you're probably screaming at me right now, demanding to know why. Why, you idiot? Why, if you had a reproduction cartridge, would you go ahead and sacrifice the legitimate game? Especially seeing as how it's a 5-screw. See? 5 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, the reason for that's actually very simple. And, well, I hopped online looking for a reproduction cartridge after seeing a video up on Facebook of a guy actually building one of these systems. And I thought to myself, I can do that. And I can do that better. And I have. I really have. And I'm going to show you. But anyhow, back to this, and my apology to you, because I feel that I have some explaining to do for my bullshit. Well, I ordered this reproduction cartridge, and then a week later, I happened across a legit copy of Duck Hunt that had been left laying around out here. And so I asked around if anybody actually had any claim to it, and everybody was saying no. And I said, okay, thank you very much, I'll take that, mine. And this little cartridge that I'd ordered was just completely forgotten. Just totally forgotten. And the power just went out, so I'm gonna go fix that. I'll be right back. See you guys in a minute. Hang on. Alright, who did it?
Fix that shit! Sergeant Scott!
Yeah, I'm gonna fix it. Knock, knock.
Not here. It's on now. I was on now? It's on now.
Being deployed is fun. There goes the power again! Hey, somebody's plugging in the wrong thing.
Okay.
Okay, who just plugged in something stupid?
I got a European out of this thing.
You what?
But if you look at the plug the computer in, you can plug the computer in straight in. No, should be good. Plug the phone directly to the wall. Plug this directly to the wall. Where it's that. So your phone's good, your laptop's good. So it's same phone, your laptop's good. See that way. Power strip. No, I'm just working well, this is the wall. Yeah, it's on. Good.
Yeah, this video is going on too long. Luckily, we're only at 8 minutes. I'm actually having to film this on my phone, so I apologize for being all kinds of janky. I literally don't have anything else to film on. Anyhow, I wanted to go ahead and get this video out because I'm selling this. Yeah. Anyhow, so the power problem you just witnessed is the result of a new guy that just moved into the barracks out here, and he is plugging in the wrong thing. Now then, quick lesson in electronics when you're overseas. The United States is a little bit unique in that it uses 100 to 110 volts from the wall, and everywhere else they typically use 240. And that means that in places like Germany, you're gonna need one of these bad boys. This right here is a 300 watt, 240 to 110 downstepper for voltage. And without this, I wouldn't be able to use any of my electronics. Now, I've got a power strip plugged into it here, and then I've got my phone plugged into it right here. Good to go. Now then, here's what we're going to do next. We're going to go ahead and, oh man, I don't even remember where I was. But anyhow, so yeah, long and the short of it is, saw a YouTube video that got posted to Facebook of a guy building one of these things here, which is a Raspberry Pi Zero inside of a Nintendo cartridge. And then I decided I could do it too. So I went ahead and I bought all of my supplies off of the internet, and while waiting for them to get out here, this is one of the things that I bought, I found this guy and forgot all about this guy, so I went ahead and gutted this guy and did all of sorry, all the plastic removal from it. And, well, then this guy showed up a week later in the mail, and I felt really bad. So I went ahead and threw Duck Hunt into it. You can actually kind of, sort of, yeah, there it is. You can just barely see it because there's crappy lighting conditions here. And, it's the actual Nintendo game is actually in here, and it's still good, as far as I'm aware. I don't have the system to test it on. What you gonna do? Anyway, or at least I should say, what can I do? Other than buying a whole second-hand system, or a legitimate Nintendo to actually test it on, and, well, we're actually pretty close to getting out of here, and I don't want to be buying things like that. Yeah. So, let's get going. I'm going to go ahead and move things around. And I'm going to move my light around so you can actually see. I have a very tiny area out here. Alright, so here it is. On the side here, this is something that I added through no small effort, an on-off switch. Now then, going from left to right, you've got your HDMI, you've got a gap, USB, 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 and micro USB for power. There it is. Next, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. Now then, what you're going to be needing for this is a toolkit containing this is probably upside down. I don't know if this is upside down. I apologize if it is. Alright, so a toolkit. Yes, this is the one that I brought from home. You're going to be needing a flathead screwdriver for this, because the screws in this guy are just a little bit screwy. Lol. And then for this particular cartridge, you've got the 5 screws. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove those real quick. And I'm gonna prop you up right there, so that hopefully you can watch me while I work. Don't fall. I had the wrong screwdriver. Really? Really? You're embarrassing me. Cut it out. There we go. Anyhow. So I built this thing to be a common use emulation system. On it I have loaded RetroPie as well as Raspbian Pixel on a 16 gigabyte micro SD card. Now, some of you may be asking, well, how did you manage to do that? Well, I used a dirty little trick, and I'll go ahead and shoot that in another video and show you that. That's actually not going to be this video. This video is just going to be the physical setup. Now I also have a Raspberry Pi 3 Bravo, which I'm going to be using to show you the other videos. Now then, here we go. Meat and potatoes time. Alright, so, got the screws out. Let's go ahead and open this right up, very gently and carefully, because the power switch is kind of not glued in place, but instead wedged. Now then, you'll see here the Raspberry Pi Zero, my 16 gigabyte micro SD card, and I've used a number of interesting tiny adapters to actually get this to work. Now, yes, these are all duct taped together and it looks kind of yucky and nooky. This is super glued down, so I'm not going to be lifting that out. This is super glued down, so I'm not going to be lifting that out. This is not super glued down. This is obviously a USB hub, which I ended up purchasing while I was out here. I had to shorten the cord because the cord was 3 feet long, and there's no way in the world I would actually be having 3 feet of cord packed in there. So what I did is I cut it and then took a section out of that cord and then resoldered everything there. This right here is the Wi-Fi dongle. That way there's no USB ports that are wasted. And this is the official Raspberry Pi Wi-Fi dongle. There's a little raspberry there. And then here is the power switch. As you can see, I've taken the black, well actually no, you can't really see that very well. And I can't really maneuver things very well to show you because of my very terrible lighting conditions. Yeah, very, very terrible lighting conditions. Let me see if I can get that to focus. Let's see if I can get that to focus again. And I think you might be able to actually see that now, but anyhow. So I've got the black wire. I had to trim back the actual, this insulation from a section here. And I took the black wire, cut the black wire, put the switch in between it, and then just left all the other wires undamaged and just, put it all back together. Now, for plugging the large size USB into the micro USB, I'm actually using a very tiny adapter, which can be found on, I believe, wish.com. I've got an extra one here. I'm going to go ahead and set you down for just a moment while I dig that out. A lot of other guys on YouTube, on Facebook, on different hobby websites end up using very large adapters, and to me that just was totally unacceptable. So the one that I'm using is probably upside down when I showed it to you right there. So this is what I'm using. It's a very tiny USB to micro USB adapter. Now they call this an OTG, or on-the-go adapter. It's so that you can take a standard-sized USB thumb drive and plug it straight into your phone. Now, I took one look at it, and I knew for a fact that it was absolutely perfect for this little project. As you can see, it is. Now then, I'm not going to go ahead and fire this up for you. Like I said before, this is just a quick tour of what I've done. Now, you also have to understand, I'm only using the parts that were available to me out here because some places online actually just will not ship to where I'm at. So this is, once again, a harvest and hack job. But I think the results speak for themselves. This works perfectly. I can stream Kodi on it. I can watch movies. I can play music, both through Kodi. And I can also play retro video games, or I can use it as a desktop computer. Pardon me, a desktop computer. Now, you need to understand, though, the desktop computer functions for it are actually extremely limited and extremely slow. It's like using a very slow computer from, I'd say, 2000, which is basically what this is. What you have here, what you're looking at right here, this is the main processor with its RAM chip stacked directly on top of it. That is a 1 gigahertz 64-bit processor with 512 megabytes of RAM. Now, this is a Raspberry Pi 1.3. The Raspberry Pi 0W, sorry, this is Raspberry Pi 0 1.3. Now, the 0Ws that recently came out actually have their Wi-Fi hardware built straight into them, and it's the exact same Wi-Fi hardware as what's on the Raspberry Pi 3 Bravo, and it would be located right there. and you'd be able to see it and notice it because it would be an upside down looking triangle. That's all for me for now. Have a good time, and happy modding.